Hi everybody, it's Justin, chef by trade, camping with the family again. This is the second episode we're doing in this series. We are in Chimney RV Park in Kentucky, about 40 minutes outside of Lexington, doing a little bit of bourbon trail tasting for my birthday. If you were here last time, we made some biscuits and gravy. That came out pretty well. We did learn a few things about cooking biscuits over an open fire. Today we're going to do a little bit different. We're going to do a maple bourbon glazed chicken, since we are in Bourbon, the Bourbon State, and we're going to do a little bit of thyme rice and just some sauteed broccoli. So what we're going to do first is I've got the griddle all nice and preheated. I've got my pan on here. Since that worked out pretty well last time, I'm going to try cooking a sauce out here for you guys, so we're not going in and out. It's still pretty hot here. So what we're first going to start with is I'm going to take a little bit of butter, or you could do oil. Now this part I don't want too hot, because the sauce I'm going to make is going to have a lot of sugars in it, and sugars tend to burn rather quickly. So and I got a little bit of onion, a little bit of garlic, maybe a teaspoon and a tablespoon each. A teaspoon of garlic and a tablespoon of onion. This just adds just a little bit of flavor, but not go wild. And what I'm trying to do with this is just sweat. And what I mean by sweating it is not super high heat. I'm not looking for color. I'm just looking for it to get soft, translucent, bring out those flavors. Excuse you. And that's what we're going to do here. Do a little bit of the butter, a little bit of the flavor, and we're going to let that cook down here a little bit. Helping me today, I've got the poodles. I got Lily here and Zoe. They're standard poodles, and they're here to help. Or eat it. I don't know which one yet. So we got this cooking rather nicely, actually. So while that's cooking, I've got two nice big chicken breasts here that I thawed out. I've got a nice little chicken rub on them. Just a lot of salt and garlic and a bunch of different spices. I make a bunch of different spice rubs to do in my cooking. So just put a little pan spray on there just to keep it from sticking. This is seasoned pretty well, so we shouldn't have an issue, but just to give it a little bit of love. So I got a little bit of oil down here. We don't need too much. And you always start with your presentation side, the nice side down first. Go ahead, get that going here. Now, a chicken breast like this, it's real thick like that. I like to kind of slit them open a little bit, spread them out, helps with the cooking process. And on my particular griddle, this has got an H burner underneath, it's called. So the middle is the hottest part. So I'll put those there, let those start cooking. Turn up the heat just a tad. So as we can see here, we're a little over halfway now with that. Give that a couple minutes. Chicken's going well. I tossed the chicken in a little bit of oil as well, just to make it almost like a wet rub. Just a little bit of oil, the seasonings, the salt, the pepper, and really get in there. And I let this sit for like about 45 minutes. Also, I said we're gonna do some broccoli, so I julienne some onion, which is basically a really thin slice onion here, and a little bit of chopped garlic, and then the broccoli. I'm just going to saute them up here with a little bit of butter, salt and pepper. Easy peasy. Now this is something you could make the sauce ahead of time. It holds pretty well. So if you have a little bit bigger family, or maybe a little less space to do this kind of stuff, you could make this sauce at home, and then go ahead and just bring it in like a nice Mason's jar or whatever you got lying around. Alright, so we're almost there. I'm going to deglaze with the bourbon. Now the goal with this is not to make the bourbon so much where you taste like you're drinking a shot. It's supposed to be, you taste a little bit in the back of your mouth, but not so much where it's like, bleh, you know, you don't want that. So with this not being an open flame here, I don't worry so much, but when you're deglazing, you gotta be careful because you can get some heat back on you. So just shake it around a little bit. That basically pulls up anything from the bottom of the pan. Get that nice smell. You're not really looking to cook off too much of that liquor there, just a little bit. So as you can see, you got this nice little bit of onion, little garlic. So now, traditional barbecue sauces, you're gonna do like a little bit of sweet, a little bit of savory, a little bit of this and that. So we're gonna do a little bit of ketchup. What we have, so here we are. A little bit of ketchup. I prefer a little bit of apple cider vinegar. You can use a different vinegar if you so choose, but I feel like it works very well in this situation. Just a dab in the beginning. A little bit of Worcestershire, just a touch. You can always add a little bit more too. Now, I use real maple syrup. I don't like using pancake syrup, if you will, because it's a much different flavor. And it's really nice. It's got a nice flavor, nice consistency. And I feel like it goes really well with the bourbon. So we're just going to do a little bit instead of like say brown sugar or molasses. Nice. And we're basically just going to mix this all together. Going to make kind of a weird looking ketchup-y look, but that's okay for now. That's going to cook down. And then depending on how the flavor profile is, I might throw in just a touch of mustard as well. Not bad. I'm going to add just a touch more vinegar and just a touch more Worcestershire to get us going here. Now I'm just cooking for the two of us, so you know my amounts are pretty small compared versus if you had a larger family, say of family of 4 or something. You could do this almost like a sweet and sour. You add a little bit of red pepper flakes, and that would play really nice with the bourbon, the maple, all that kind of stuff. So this just needs to now sit and just cook. That's what's gonna kind of take away that like ketchup-y taste and give it more of a barbecue sauce taste. So let's take a peek at our chicken here. We're getting a nice color. See that nice golden brown? Oh yeah, that one looks really nice. That's what's called a Maillard reaction, and that's basically that process of browning the meat, where it goes from the heat to the oil to the meat, and that gives that nice color as it interacts with the seasonings. So, just gonna let that go. We're not gonna push it too hard because it'll just slowly cook. And we're gonna let this this sauce here reduce down, keep cooking, and we'll come back after we get a little bit along. It's gonna take, I don't know, probably about 5-10 minutes, and then we'll check back in. Alrighty, so chicken's looking pretty good. I'm gonna turn it again. As you see, we're getting that nice color on there. Turn down the heat just a little bit because I want just that inside to cook now. Now, if you look at our sauce, we're getting some nice reactions, nice little thickening up as well. I added a touch of Dijon mustard. When I mean a touch, I mean like an 1/8 of a teaspoon, just a little itty bitty. And then I did just a little dash of cinnamon, just to give it a little more complexity. And I got a little extra bourbon right here to see how it's going to taste as it sits and it cooks. Because I want to still be able to taste it, but I don't want it to be so harsh. So we're going to do that. And at the very end, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to take a little bit of butter and kind of mix it in there at the last second. And that's going to really smooth it out, make a really nice mouthfeel. Just make it a little bit different. So chicken's looking good. Sauce is cooking. Not too bad. One way a lot of people check chicken is you can use a thermometer because you want that 165. Sometimes I've done this long enough where I can feel it, so I can feel like this is getting to a nice consistency. This one's a little bit thicker, so it's going to take a little bit longer. Do a nice little pull. You can see it's getting nice and bright white in there. These in the cooler section of the griddle. All right. So next thing we're going to do here really fast. A little bit more butter. Let that butter melt. Go ahead and drop down our broccoli, the onions, the garlic. Alright. And we're just basically going to toss that around just a little bit, kind of get that butter mixed in. I'm not so worried right now about it touching the chicken because the chicken is pretty much done. Especially the outside is done. So we're just giving it just a couple more minutes to finish off. Because I wouldn't be doing this otherwise. Because you don't want to mix raw and uncooked food. Especially chicken, you don't want to get nobody sick. So we're going to put that right there in the middle. Let that start sauteing and cooking. We add a little butter, we will. We'll do a little bit of the salt and pepper at the end. And the sauce is looking really good. Get that nice consistency now. Now I don't have molasses today. That's sometimes what gives that darker color, and brown sugar as well. But like I said, we're using maple syrup, which works very well for this process. Just a touch more. So, all right. So probably about, I don't know. We'll give this about 5-6 minutes. The sauce will be almost done. And you can, you know, if you have a slow cooker or something like that, you can really let that sit for a while too and really just marry the flavors. On here though, I'm more worried about the sugars burning if the temperature is too hot. Because once you burn that, it's not going to have a good taste. It's just going to be very bitter. Same thing if you burn your garlic or something like that. It'll be a very bitter taste as well. So I'm going to give the broccoli and the onions and such here a little toss. Maybe just a tad more butter. And I'll bring you back here once we're almost done. Alrighty. So now I just pulled off the chicken, nice and cooked. Got a beautiful smell. I'm gonna let it rest. Very important you let your meat rest. You let those juices come and go. Gives you a better product at the end instead of just rushing into it and cutting it. I just went ahead and seasoned the broccoli, and I turned down the griddle here. Broccoli's going to finish kind of steaming and cooking. Mix it up a little bit. With the sauce, as you can tell, we're getting a very nice consistency now. I added just a touch more whiskey and a little bit of salt and pepper, just to give it that little bit bigger punch. Now you're going to get that ketchup-y flavor in the background, but as it cooks, that ketchup-y flavor is going to go away. So we're almost there. It's looking pretty good. I just want to give it a little bit more time. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to let the broccoli kind of steam in there and saute at the same time. We're going to let the sauce finish up. The chicken's all done. I'm going to go ahead and get the rice. The rice, I just did a little bit of chicken stock, a little minute rice, because, you know, who's got time for a half hour wait for rice while you're camping? It doesn't work that way. So I got a little bit of minute rice, and I got a couple of thyme sprigs in there. Once it comes to a boil, just dump your rice in there, 5 minutes, if that. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that up, and when we come back, we're going to go ahead and plate up and see what our finished product looks like. All right, so we are right here at the nice finished product we got here. I got my my nice rice here, my thyme rice. Just add a little bit of butter, salt, and pepper. Got my nice sauteed or roasted broccoli. little bit here for me. Take our chicken that's been resting here for a minute. Got all these nice caramelized onions there. And then we're going to take our sauce. And if you see here, we got a really nice consistency. Got that nice thick barbecue sauce look. Whoop. Should use a towel, but I'm a professional. And so we're just going to take it, give it a nice glaze. You just want it to complement it. This is going to go really well with the seasonings I rubbed on there. And make a really nice dinner. So there you are. It's a little bourbon maple barbecue sauce over a little bit of rice. Some nice roasted or sauteed broccoli with some onions. I'm gonna dig in. Gotta make my wife a nice plate. And we'll see you back here next time and see what we're cooking.